advocates and provided services to improve child health in the San Diego area. They raised $4 million, $3.9 million. They gave it to the municipal government in San Diego, and they said, now it's time to fluoridate. That happened in February 2011. Port Macquarie, Hastings, Australia also initiated water fluoridation in February 2012. Communities that discontinued water fluoridation in the past year include Amherstburg, Ontario, January 2012, Lakeshore, small community neighboring Amherstburg, and then the BC communities, Williams Lake and Lake Cowichan, BC. This is my last slide before I turn over to Dr. King. This is Ontario data on water fluoridation. And what it shows on your horizontal axis is what proportion of people in your community have water fluoridation. So this is 30 health units in Ontario that reported to the Chief Dental Officer of the province, and this analysis was done at that level. So you've got from nobody fluoridated to 100%, almost 100%. People in the area fluoridated. In Hamilton, we have something like 75, so we're one of these two dots here. You can see that in the smaller communities, there's a lot of random variation, so people are far off that line. In the larger communities, fairly consistently near that line. And this line is a line of best fit, statistically very significant in the analysis that was done here. What it shows is that the lower your sorry, I didn't tell you what your x-axis, your vertical axis is here, your y-axis. This is decayed, missing, and filled teeth. DMFT scores you'll hear, a fairly common measure of oral health. The higher, the worse. So, you know, if you've got one cavity, you'd end up here as a 1. If you've got three cavities, you'd end up here. The relationship is fairly strong. The more people receive fluoridated water in your community in Ontario, the less cavities and the lower the DMFT score. What this means is if you took a community like ours with a DMFT score of about 1.5 and you discontinue water fluoridation, it suggests that on average we would be up around the 2, so about half a cavity per person, and sort of 5-year-old child, so half a cavity per 5-year-old child. Which is about a 30% increase. We used a much more conservative estimate in the report to estimate that if water fluoridation were discontinued in Hamilton, again, we're talking about the Woodward Water Treatment Plant, which provides water to about 385,000 people in Hamilton. And over a 10-year period, we estimated that based on the U.S. CDC's number, which is an increase of 19% cavities, you probably have in the range of 139,000 additional cavities in Hamilton over 10 years. If you use Ontario data, 30% rather than 19% US CDC data, you'd have a much bigger figure. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. King now, and we'll take questions at the end of the two presentations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mackey, and I'm delighted to be here in support of your local medical officer of health and associate medical officer of health with respect to this issue. Community water fluoridation is one of the greatest public health achievements of the 20th century. This has certainly been stated by both the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and by our Canadian Public Health Associations. It is supported by more than 90 national and international organizations as the most cost-effective and equitable strategy for the prevention of dental decay. And I want to assure you that fluoridating drinking water is safe, it's effective, it's economical, and it's equitable. It reaches everyone. In Ontario, fluoride additives must meet standards of quality and purity before they can be used. In Ontario, fluoride additives are regulated by the Ministry of the Environment, and this is not the norm across the country. In fact, we have some of the strongest regulations in the country related to this issue. They are regulated and have to be certified to the National Sanitation Foundation Standard 60, which is a specific standard endorsed both by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and Health Canada. Systems that fluoridate have to ensure that a water sample is taken at the end of the fluoridation process at least once every day and tested. The most commonly used compound for water fluoridation is hydrofluorosilicic acid. And when it is added to water, it dissolves completely to release fluoride ions and break down into harmless compounds. And it ceases, in fact, to exist as hydrofluorosilicic acid. People do not ingest hydrofluorosilicic acid when they drink fluoridated water. Fluoride is not a fertilizer. It's a naturally occurring mineral that's found in soil, air, plants, animals, and water supplies in the environment. Drinking water systems that fluoridate are required to maintain a range of 0.5 to 0.8 milligrams per liter of fluoride. And in concentrations that are used for water fluoridation, fluoride is not toxic or harmful. The difference in the effect of a massive dose of fluoride and the effect of taking small amounts of fluoride daily to reduce to decay. And like many essential substances needed for good health, so for instance salt or iron or vitamins or oxygen, fluoride can in fact be toxic in excessive quantities. The possibility of adverse health effects from continuous low-level consumption of fluoride over long periods has been studied extensively, and scientific evidence indicates that the fluoridation of community water supplies is both safe and effective. And the optimal range of fluoride used for water fluoridation already has a built-in margin of safety that takes into consideration the use of fluoride from other sources as well. After more than 6 years of research, scientific evidence indicates that the fluoridation of community water supplies is safe, with little or no evidence that fluoridation is associated with cancer, bone disease, kidney disease, birth defects, or other health effects. And since 1997 alone, there have been 18 major reviews examining fluoridation, including an expert panel convened by Health Canada in 2007, which concluded that the weight of the evidence from all currently available studies shows no harmful health risk at current fluoride levels. The most common side effect of excess fluoride consumption is dental fluorosis, and questionable, very mild, and even moderate dental fluorosis have no effect on tooth function. And the prevalence of moderate and severe fluorosis in Canada is extremely small, as demonstrated by the Canadian Health Measures Survey at Oral Health statistics from 2007 to 2009, which concluded that so few Canadian children have moderate or severe fluorosis that even combined the prevalence is too low to permit reporting. And this finding provides validation that dental fluorosis remains an issue of low concern in this country. Community water fluoridation is effective. Water fluoridation can reduce tooth decay in children's primary teeth by up to 60% and in their permanent teeth by up to 35%. Adults experience a 20 to 40% reduction in tooth decay from lifelong exposure to water fluoridation, and water fluoridation can reduce root surface decay up to 35%